Yo, it's your boy Dctree from Dctree-Nation.com, where we cover hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoops. Kawhi Leonard did not quit on the San Antonio Spurs. And I know people are kind of tired of this topic. I was hesitant to do this video, but I have to make peace with this thing. But before I get too deep into it, if you like my content, please subscribe to the channel. Okay, like I said before, I was hesitant to do this video because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get like 2.5 views. But I need to get this off my chest. Looking at what happened after the game the other night between the Spurs and the Raptors, how Greg Popovich interacted with Kawhi, how Kawhi interacted with him, I just can't push the feeling that it's something we don't know. And the narrative of Kawhi just quitting on the team and being a diva and hiding from Spurs officials and, you know, being greedy and Uncle Dennis running everything, it just doesn't make sense, because if all that had happened, there's no way Greg Popovich will be working so hard to salvage or save the relationship. Not this early in the game. I feel like he would be upset with Kawhi. I feel like the Spurs would be upset with Kawhi if that's truly 100% what went down. If he truly did quit on the team, there's no way he would be received this well so quickly. So to me, that shows me that there's more to the story. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, hey, Greg Popovich is a class act. He's not going to go out his way to damage Kawhi after the fact. And I agree, he is a class act. But there's a very different situation going on here. He's not being negative. We don't expect him to be negative. But Greg Popovich stays neutral in a lot of things. But he's going out his way to show his support for Kawhi. He's going out his way to ask fans not to boo. He went out his way to, you know, tell the media that he felt badly that Kawhi even got booed in the first place. Greg Popovich is a no-nonsense military type guy. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. He's not going to be, you know, PC all the time. He's just going to tell you like it is, or he's not going to say anything. But he's going out his way to be positive about Kawhi. And I doubt he does that for a quitter. That's someone who quit on the team, someone who lied about his injury, someone who hid from Spurs officials, someone who was being a diva. He's not going to do that if that's 1,000% what happened. I just don't see it. Let me give you an example. For my OG Spurs fans that know the Stephen Jackson situation when he got cut from the team and no one really knew why, Greg Popovich has not said anything bad about Stephen Jackson. Now, Stephen Jackson has had a whole lot to say about the Spurs since then, but Greg Popovich hasn't said anything bad, but he hasn't said anything good either. He stays neutral in a situation where you're dealing with a guilty party per se. Now, we know Stephen Jackson was prior responsible for his demise with the Spurs, but Greg Popovich isn't going out his way, or at that time never went out of his way to defend Stephen Jackson. He just stayed neutral. But with flash forward with Kawhi Leonard, he's constantly going above and beyond to let people know that Kawhi is a good guy, that he has a good relationship with Kawhi, that, you know, he hugs him, he talks to him. He's just, his energy is completely different. And I just don't see him doing that if the quitting rumors are true. Okay, let's look at the Kawhi side of things. Kawhi Leonard has not said anything negative about the Spurs since he left, okay? He hasn't said much of anything, and that's why he does deserve some criticism, but that's his right not to say anything. But usually he says things positive, like he had this positive quote saying that at times he wished things worked out differently. This just happened, guys. He just got traded. It's half of the year, and you already having regrets. It's because it wasn't no major problems going on. If Kawhi Leonard was a diva, if he hated the Spurs, if he quit on the Spurs, he would have nothing but negative things to say about the team. He would at least lie about it, wouldn't he? You know, to paint himself as a better person or a better player. He doesn't have anything to say because there's nothing there. I honestly think this came down to a couple minor issues that kind of blew up. I got a feeling, and this is just a feeling, and this is just a theory video, that the Spurs didn't want to pay him the max. That's what I'm thinking. The Spurs didn't want to pay him the max, and Kawhi and his team, Uncle Dennis and those guys, got upset about that. And if that's the case, I can't really blame them, man. Because, I mean, the Spurs have been spoiled over the years to have Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker now willing to take less to play for the Spurs, but you can't expect this young kid, this new guy, new age guy to do that? Why should he have to take less? Even if he does have some injuries, even if he does, have some issues, if the issues are cleared, if your doctors have cleared him, why not give him the max? This guy goes toe to toe with Durant, goes toe to toe with LeBron. He deserves a max contract. And I really think that's what drew them apart, because if it was personal, there's no way they would have this buddy feel going on the other night. So again, I don't think Kawhi Leonard quit on his team. I think the business part of the league tore them apart. Him and Popovich, him and the Spurs. Maybe Popovich was a little pushy when coming off his injury, and maybe Kawhi was overly cautious. And he has that right to be overly cautious. Just because you're physically ready to go doesn't mean you're mentally ready to go. And I don't think they handled it right, and it turned Kawhi off. So he made a knee-jerk reaction and wanted a trade. And now we left with the consequences. But just quit with the, narrative that he quit on the Spurs, because it doesn't make sense. The body language, the relationship with Popovich is repaired too quick, too soon if he was being a total jerk, total diva. It just doesn't make sense. All right, guys, that's it for this one. For more information on the Spurs, check out the main page, Dctree-Nation.com. Like us on Facebook. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Help a brother out. Peace.